Good morning, everybody. It's Marcia from Oils and Wellness with Marcia. And to continue with our book, I told you earlier that there are several, I don't remember how many there is, a lot of women that wrote little things about their life for this book. And today, the person that wrote's name is Christina Axness. Christian Axness, and her title is Going Tiny to Live Big. So here we go. I started working when I was young, but it wasn't until I was 18 that I landed a real job in the apartment industry. I began in the leasing office, worked my way up, and by the time I was 23, I had over 1,200 units in the portfolio that I managed for investors. As for my husband, Nate, he followed his dreams and became a firefighter. The money was flowing. My husband and I were partying, and our American dream was happening. In 2011, when the housing market finally bottomed out, Nate and I decided that we were going to become real adults and buy our first home. We bought what we considered a fixer-upper and the perfect investment property. It was at the top end of our budget. The following month, I found out I was pregnant with our first baby. Many of our projects that we had planned for the house suddenly took a back seat when Ella arrived in our lives in July 2012. This is when life got real. After promises of time off from the company went unfulfilled, I was forced to make some difficult choices. I knew I wanted to be with my young daughter, but had no clue what the scenario might look like. So 6 months after my daughter was born, I resigned from my full-time job and opened my own retail business. I opened a baby store where I could work my own hours, keep my daughter with me, and live life by my design. Oh, how wrong I was. Turns out, when you own your own business, it's twice the work with no time off. And, by the way, you make little or no money. So, there we were with the home in despair, strapped for cash, and saddled with the failing business. It was on a 2-year anniversary of the business when I finally realized it was over. My business was failing, and our fixer-upper was falling apart. I was physically sick from the stress, and even though I'm one of the most optimistic people you'll ever meet, at this point in the journey, I had no hope. We were in pre-foreclosure to our house, with penalties mounting, as our second child was about to arrive. Our water was due to be shut off, and our business landlord was literally screaming for his money. I just couldn't do it anymore. We abruptly closed the doors to our rental business, and I went home with my tail between my legs. I was hurt. I felt like a failure, and I was clueless to what to do next. The worst part of me was hearing my husband leave the house at 4 o'clock in the morning to walk around the block because he, too, was sleepless and losing hope. Not knowing where to turn, a friend helped me start a business from home. It wasn't much at first, and I earned enough to pay the past due water bill. I loved the freedom that working from home provided, and over time, the income improved. A year later, I was covering all the monthly expenses. Even with that, for some reason, we still had more months left than at the end of the money. And we realized the problem was us. It was time to get on the budget and fix our spending habits. We built up a small emergency savings fund that we began to pay down on debt. On the path to financial freedom, we were continuing to grow our business, mitigating house disasters with our small emergency fund, and beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. After digging ourselves out of the hole, we were finally able to begin dreaming again and talking about the future. Have you ever been there? So stressed and exhausted that you just fall into routine of survival and you can't even dream? Here is where things get good. After fully committing to an ultra strict budget, we finally made the last payment on our credit card. The only debit remaining was our mortgage. We had become so obsessed with the idea of living debt-free that the idea of the bank owning our home got under our skin. We were in IKEA buying some home furnishings, but we decided to call the realtor instead. At the end of the phone call, we left our shopping cart full of junk in the store and drove home. The next day, our house was on the market. 2 months later, the house and everything in it was sold. We took our tiny surplus and built a tiny house, plus a big-ass truck to tow it, and put the rest into a fully funded emergency savings fund. The whole idea of the minimalist lifestyle really spoke to us. We had already experienced the American dream. Credit card payments, endless home repairs, car payments, vacations we couldn't afford, keeping up with the Joneses. And we were done with all that. Today we're debt-free, living simply and growing our business. We owe nobody. Because of this, at 32 years old, Nate was able to put in his 2 weeks' notice to retire from his firefighter job. Our children were looking forward to not just saying goodbye to their daddy for days at a time. Our family is on the path of balanced ULA life. We are ridding ourselves of the things that robbed us and investing in the things that grow us. In fact, we're heading out for a 1-year cross-country family trip with our tiny home and our big-ass truck. Some may call it adventure of a lifetime. We call it freedom. Your ULA is your ULA. The financial goals and dreams you have for your life and inquire to you. Maybe you want to live simple or simply, or maybe you want to crush it. Tomorrow I'll be talking from another writer from here, and her name is Deborah Rayburn, and her title is From Bread Baker to Breadwinner. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please smash the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow where we learn a little bit of how Deborah became the breadwinner. Ta-ta for now. Love you guys.